So today, version 56 just released, and we now have the new Skywarden Tower. And I will not be looking at that because, unfortunately, I have not grinded any pops out of the, wow, 3.5 million, that's a lot. What I can look at is the new list of balance changes, which is honestly what I care about right now. That will probably change in like 24 hours, but oh well. They have changed some very interesting things, even though it's actually pretty limited in what they have changed. Play the new map Ascent. Very cool looking and advanced map. Although it honestly does seem pretty easy for an advanced. We also got a new Corvus skin, which you will be able to see not yet. Right now. So yeah, he looks absolutely badass. And the spellbook is actually the same, which is interesting. And we will look at some of the changes that have been made to Corvus in a second. But first, I want to go in order of what the notes have actually provided. And first of all is Tack changes. We can now see that the prices have been reworked. So these two upgrades of even more tax, they have been price increased by a little bit. And the 2XX upgrade, it's been buffed by decreasing the price. Okay, I think I got it right that time. And the reasoning is basically because Tax Sprayer has been more popular, which I don't even think it's better. Like, realistically, you are only dealing 1 damage, and yeah, okay, it's a bit cheaper, and yes, you will be getting buffs and stuff, but they have said that it seems like 203 has been doing better than 302, which I don't think it has. I think if you get the buffs, then that's okay, but early on you will not have those buffs. I don't know, it just kind of feels wrong that they're doing that. That being said, I will gladly take the buffs to even faster shooting because it honestly did feel quite a bit expensive, especially considering that the tier 1 upgrade was like half the price. More importantly, they have buffed hotshots, so now it does 3 damage instead of 2. And this is huge for hotshots because it was already honestly really good. Okay, this isn't a great spot, but on maps where you would get a pretty decent spot, like if I could put it, I don't know, about here, it would go insane. Like it would probably beat up until, I don't know, 35. Okay, maybe not 35, but now it definitely does beat up until 35. It's just so strong. Because originally the issue was that it would layer skip into like pinks and stuff, and that happens pretty early on because you get zebras on 26 and whatever and 31, but now it just doesn't do that until 35, which is really good. The 2 times that I did use hotshots for my early game, I was really impressed, which I think it was on like my Buccaneer's Black Border, which is an expert list map, and it was really doing well in the early game. It was only there for like 1 of 2 lanes, and it was really just taking apart that 1 lane that it was on. 320 Tack really goes hard for the early game. It's just that it doesn't build into anything later on because Roth isn't really that good and Iring is not in a great state right now. The next tower type is Ices, and we have got 2 things to take note of. The first one is Super Brittle is getting nerfed. Its attack speed is getting decreased. It's going by, how much is that? I think it's 80% of the damage that it was doing before. Whatever, I don't know how the percentage works. Which is fair because it was already doing so much and it was like such a strong tower. And when they gave it the buffs in, I think it was version 51, they really made it really insanely strong. And I guess now we're seeing the slow dial back since version 53 of Super Brittle. It got some of its damage taken off, and now it's getting some more attack speed taken off as well. That being said, I don't think it's going to change much. It's just going to make 98 harder. 100 is going to be the exact same for the most part. Stuff like Super Maelstrom, Super Brittle should still remain fine. It's more stuff like Tax Zone Super Brittle that's going to change. We also get a price increase in Snowstorm because, to be fair, it was really good on round like 99 where you could just freeze basically everything on that round because it was so short and because they were FDDTs. I guess we're seeing the results of that overpoweredness being finally compensated for. I don't know what the word is. Oh wait, this is primary only. I can showcase this next one. The next thing that we have is Desperado, which has got a few changes. Standoff has been changed so that now it has the exact same net buff when there's only one balloon in the radius, but it falls off slower and it needs more balloons in its radius to lose all of those attack speed buffs. And you can't really see it, but it used to be 15% per balloon apart from the first one in its radius being lost, and now it's 10 and you need 6 instead of 4, which is pretty nice. It's just an overall buff for stuff like 98, 99, except it's not really going to make much of a difference on those rounds because they have like hundreds of stuff. Okay, not hundreds, but like they will easily pass the cap, and I guess it will help a lot on rounds like 85, 87, where there's a few things, but it will actually make a difference. Another thing we got is Big Iron now popping lead, which I guess it's fine, but it splits it into pinks, so I don't think we're gonna see more Big Iron early games necessarily. Most of the good strategies that use Big Iron will have lead popping built into them. So like, okay, think, what is good with TBS? Usually you'd be using it with Solver. You could like use it in a black border to save up into Solver and then go over into Harmonic. That's a really nice strategy. I've used it quite a few times. It's also really good with Silas, TBS, Bunter, Esprit, AZ, it's just all that great stuff. And all of those strategies, they have lead popping built in already. You don't even need to get an FMJ for anything, so. But Twixes being able to pop DDTs is going to be pretty nice. It, again, maybe brings back the question that we used to have of, is it better to get one TBS in a Bunter or a few Twixes in a Bunter, because that used to deal more around 100 damage for its price, but it used to be so much worse against 98, 99, but now it's probably at least comparable for around 99. Okay, actually, if it crits, then it just deletes the lead, so I didn't think about that. It could be more useful than I thought. The next change is Wanderer basically receiving the same treatment as Standoff. You now lose stacks more slowly, but have the exact same net buff. So now, instead of having 3 stacks, you have 5, and you lose 9% of attack speed each stack that you lose, which is pretty cool because I think it's gonna start being okay to lose a stack if you're going for TDP, which is pretty nice because some setups you just couldn't get any towers in without losing stacks. But I guess this change is obviously gonna accommodate for that. The Desert Phantom itself also got nerfed, so now it has the same piece as an Avenger. Apparently they're saying it's not going to be that much of a deal, and I'm assuming that P-Training, ALK, you can probably go for Stim a lot more easily now. Although you will still lose a stack, it's probably now at least arguably worth it because you're getting 1 more Pierce, and that's a lot more when you have less Pierce to begin with. We'll probably see more Stim in optimal runs of TDP. Who knows what will happen. Okay, great deflation, so I don't even need to look at the game now. The next changes that we got are Buccaneer changes. We got a slight grape shot nerf. They're changing the speed to lower it a bit, which feels kind of unnecessary, but it is powerful. I feel like if you are going to change it, you should be doing it by a little bit more than 0.05 seconds, but whatever. It's a pretty low tier tower though, so you'd have to be pretty careful with the balancing, I guess. They're taking down the Pierce of the entire middle path by the looks of it, and they're moving some of that into the 0-3 or the 0x1 crosspath, which is now going to be clearly better for races. I don't think it's going to change the crosspath that people are going to choose for when they're in chimps and, you know, they're thinking about, okay, I'm going to get Plord later. What crosspath should I get? Should I get this to deal with 98 easier, or should I get the attack speed that... Come on, the attack speed's still going to be better. This might affect the mid game if we're going for Plord first, instead of doing something like an Energizer before round, or around round 63, and then going for Plord before 80, because that's usually what I like to do, but that might be more common now. If Plord's gonna struggle to round 63 and 78 and 76 and 75 and who knows. It also got price buffed, which fine. I mean, it was doing some absolutely insane stuff. Like, I could cut the overclock in this run that I did, which was with double HP Moabs on chimps, so. Alright, increased accuracy now damages camo balloons. As much as this is a really cool change, I think it isn't going to change like the crossbar thing or anything. It's just going to be a nice way to beat the camos in the early game without having to spend as much, because 215 is pretty cheap for a camo upgrade. I mean, it's better than a sniper. It's probably not going to change the cross-pathing situation, because realistically you need a camo village anyway, because you want to get a village for both the biggest one and Buccaneer. So why not just get the camo anyway? Plus, you also need to consider that Striker won't have camo, and he probably should, and you'll probably need a Moab Eliminator as well, and that needs camo, so just go for the better crosspath of 520 or 250. Some new quality of life, I guess, change it. I can't really tell what this is, but it seems fun, it seems helpful, it seems like a buff. I mean, it's not a pack cell buff that it kind of needs, if I'm being honest, because it's not really that good in the mid game, but whatever. Would it like even help in something like bosses, question mark? No idea, whatever. Super monkeys are getting their projectile speeds increased so that they no longer whiff stuff, which is going to be really nice, because that was really common from what I found. It would just not hit its target if it was too far away. But now that's been fixed thanks to this buff. Or maybe not fixed, but it's not going to be as apparent, at least. The rest of the stuff that we have here is exclusive to Sun Temples, or... Am I dead? Okay. The rest of the stuff is either exclusive to temples, or it's just quality of life stuff, like setting the robo default targeting to be first and strong. I don't really know why it was first and last, but whatever. I'm not gonna lie, I've been like trying to understand what this Druid changes, and I just don't get it. Like, I think I'm gonna have to have someone tell me like exactly what happens and use examples, because I just don't understand. I can understand this part where it says that it's no longer gonna be able to knock balloons all the way back to the front of the track. I think that's saying, I don't even know what that means, but whatever. But Druid Paragon now is an X1X village across the entire map. Isn't that cool? They're changing the way that the stun damage bonus works for Velociraptor and T-Rex and probably Giganotosaurus as well, which is pretty nice. I mean, they did nerf it very recently. I think it was version 54. They dialed down the damage huge time, so I guess this will give them something for people that are not going to be avid T-Rex micros. It actually seems like it's quite a big increase if it works how I think it is. It's going to make V-Raptor better at killing Moabs in the mid game. It's also going to make T-Rex just better in the late game, especially with Pat. We might see more T-Rex Pat. Stuff on like True Experts is what I'm trying to say. Maybe we'll see something on Tricky Tracks. That'd be pretty cool. Maybe I'll do something on Tricky Tracks, although I don't really want to. Moving on to the hero balance, we have some changes. Well, we don't have any changes from Oban. However, there's things listed, which is just all of the Druid buffs that you get from Oban applying to Skywardens now, which is pretty nice. Some of the things have been changed from what I can tell, because some of them didn't really work. Like level 18 now doesn't buff XX3 Skywardens the same way that it buffed XX3 Druids, because well, that didn't really make sense. How would that work? And same thing for the Tornado Druids, and I have no idea what this upgrade is called. Windweaver. Yeah, now that works differently as well. We've also got Corvus changes, and this is not in the form of a usual nerf or buff, but rather they are reworking nourishment to not grant XP, but to grant cash. Now, I don't think that this would work in chimps. If it does, I think Corvus will just be even better. It looks like they're trying to make it easier to use Corvus as effectively as possible, so I don't think that that would be a thing, but I'll test it anyway. Ah, so nourishment's just straight up disabled in chimps. Okay, that's good. Also got some Rosalia reworks. This seems to be just increasing the damage and decreasing the stall, because the stall was super powerful, and they didn't really want that to be the main reason of using Rosalia, but rather have it be the damage, which is fair. and I can kind of see that being annoying. It's everything from level 13 and up, so we won't see any changes until like round 70 maybe, depending on obviously the map difficulty, as well as the round of placement. Silas hasn't got any changes, but they have got some things applying to the XX3 Skywardens. So now you can see we will get the bonus 5% XP every round with XX3 Skywardens. What is the name of this? I'm gonna have to learn that as well. Cold Chain, okay. Cold Chain Skywardens will now boost the XP of Silas, so we don't have to worry about, oh, I need to get my cryo cannons before I go for my Cold Chain when I'm doing blah 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 Winter's Mercy with Silas and Impale. I don't know if that's even a good strategy yet, but that's what I expect to be pretty good, at least. At least it's what I hope it is, because Impale is kind of shadowed by the other two Ice Monkeys. Finally, we got some Dan changes. So it looks like level 8 has been buffed, as the stomp wasn't very consistent, nor did it do very much by the looks of it. And they're also increasing the damage of the later levels, because it wasn't very good, if I'm being honest, and I think everyone can agree. And it probably still won't be very good, but at least it'll be better than what it was. So Dan won't just be a, you know, mid-game, solely mid-game focused, make big save-ups like Superstorm before round 85 or whatever, blah blah blah. As well as getting P-Brew with Elite Defender really quickly, that was another common thing. One more change that I don't actually think I've seen in the patch notes, but is apparently there, is Razor Raiders has got its price moved down by $400 and Apache Dartship went out by $200. Nope, it went up by $400, because this is supposed to be 19,600, and I'm glad I caught on to this. Hopefully they'll update it by the time this video releases, but yeah, they just forgot to include that because there's no heli section. It doesn't look like they've forgotten anything else in terms of prices. Everything else looks to be the same price. Well, that about wraps up everything I wanted to talk about. There's a few things that I expected to be on this list, particularly Moab Assassins and Blitz, but they just weren't there at all. I guess they haven't really seen the insane things that Assassins and Blitz have just done with Striker, but whatever, I guess. Goodbye.